What's going on, guys? So today we're taking a little closer look at that survival knife from Harbor Freight that I got for $6.99. This style of hollow handle survival knife has been around forever, and there's been hundreds of different manufacturers for these things. Most of them kind of perform the same. I've had multiple versions of this knife in the past. Looking through Harbor Freight catalogs, and a lot of times like there's Harbor Freight inserts and gun magazines and stuff like that. I've always seen this and passed it up, and this recent time where I saw it in a magazine, it had some coupons, and this was normally $9.99. That's what they normally sell it for, and they had a coupon for $6.99. I thought to myself, you know what, I gotta try this. I just have to kill my curiosity on it. So I bought it for $6.99, and I have to say that is the cheapest you will probably ever see this knife, period. Even at $10, it's super cheap. You see these things for $15, $20, $30 all the time. It's probably worth $6.99, but we're gonna find out. So anyway, here's my initial impressions on it. I did save the cardboard backing because it was in a plastic packaging, and I saved this just to show you their advertisement. All right, so they're saying this is an 8-inch survival hunting knife. All right, there's the item number, by the way, for Harbor Freight, 98714. All right, lightweight aluminum handle, precision sharpened 8-inch stainless steel blade. What kind of stainless steel? Who knows? We will never know, I'm sure. Of course, in the hollow handle, the whole point of this style of knife is to have a survival kit. So it did come with a survival kit, which was hard to get out. It was jammed in the bottom. I'd use one of those like grabber tools. So in this kit, we have a sewing kit, safety pin, buttons, fishing line with hook, matches with flint paper, compass, and carrying sheath. All right, so those are all the accessories here. It says, due to continuing improvements, actual products may differ from photo. Okay, well, here's the actual bag of stuff. It looks pretty similar, but yeah, we'll find out. We'll check that stuff out later. And then, of course, inside the butt end of the knife is the compass. So, here's the knife. The sheath is very, very run-of-the-mill nylon sheath. All right, it's got a drop-down loop on there for your belt, butt snap. Take it out. It has a little wrist lanyard. All right, let's keep the knife on your hand. I wouldn't use that. Just wouldn't. So I'm honestly going to probably cut that off. So we unscrew this butt cap, which is very easy to do because of the shape there. All right, and then you have your hollow storage container for, I don't know, money, or in this case, survival kit. Put your rock collection in there, whatever floats your boat. Keep it filled with Skittles. Whatever you want, really. And this, like I said, it's a common design, this hollow handle survival knife, right? And they almost always have a compass built in to the bottom. Now, looking at this compass, it is everything I expected. Right now it's saying north is that way, and I happen to know in my house, in case you're ever curious, north is that way. I know that because I've tested several compasses in my home. Oh, now it's showing close. Oh, it's showing closer to north. Maybe I should bite my tongue there. You have to keep these stable too, by the way. If you're too tilted, it just sticks, right? So it has to. Let me put it on the table here. See what it's showing. It's hard as a glare. Right now it's showing north is that way, which is closer because, like I said, it is actually that way. So it's definitely closer. Although let's flip it over. When I first took it out, it was the opposite. Let's give this a chance here. It's still saying that way. So I'm not going to say it's totally inaccurate, but obviously you don't want to trust your life on that. I would focus on another compass. This could be a backup. It's not too far off. Like I said, north is actually that way. Saying it's that way, close. I don't know. With the compass, close is not really. It's not enough. You really need it to be very accurate, right? But anyway, it's in there. Wouldn't rely on it. Let's break out the survival kit real quick just to see the contents. Make sure I'm not missing anything. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches and a striker pad. Let's see if that works. Yes, it does. All right, so the matches do work, just in case you need some fire. So that's nice to know. Put those off to the side. We have fishing line and a fishing hook. It's actually a pretty decent sized fishing hook. Sometimes with the survival kits, you get these teeny tiny little hooks to catch like goldfish. And if you're trying to catch fish, it's probably because you're trying to live. You're not just passing the time while you're dying out in the woods, right? So I like that it's actually a decent sized hook. You could probably catch a decent sized fish with that. No idea how much line is there. It feels pretty heavy. It's got to be like at least 10-pound test. All right, so that's also good. You don't want a teeny tiny hook or very, very thin line. Of course, you can get more line when it's thinner, but let's say you're trying to survive, and you haven't eaten in 2 days and you're fishing and you catch like a big trout in a river or something and your line snaps because it's like 4-pound test because the people wanted to send you 5,000 feet of it. Not helpful, right? So that looks pretty good actually. And then a sewing kit, cheap sewing kit, but I'm sure that would work fine. Not so sure, in a survival situation how important a button is. I mean, I can't think of a scenario where a button would fall off and, your life depends on putting it back on, unless it's like the button for your only pants that you have on and they keep falling down on you. I have no idea. But anyway, there's a couple different colors there, thread. So this is not really like so much a practical survival item. I would certainly take this out if you really want to put survival stuff in here and replace that with something else, like some more, I don't know, fat wood or something that would be actually more helpful. But it's in there. This is actually very helpful in normal day life. Okay, you happen to rip something, you want to sew it up. It's just nice to have a little sewing kit. All right, so that's the insert stuff. Let's put this back on the bottom here. I'm actually going to, well, you know what, before I do that, I'm taking this off. I don't know why, it's just annoying to me. Well, you know what, let's cut it off. I'm not going to reuse it. Let's test this edge here. Is it sharp? I cut the string. All right, so let's put this back on. It does have an O-ring on there, which is nice. So the contents will not get wet. That's very important, actually. Overall, it has a pretty good feel. These hollow handle survival type knives obviously have a thick round handle. It feels very different than pretty much every other knife you've ever held. Okay, so it's a big round handle. It feels like you're holding a pipe or something. The edge actually feels reasonably sharp. We do a little paper cut test on that right now. Let's see. Oh, not too bad. Definitely not great. Yeah, probably to be expected. I mean, it's sharp enough. Trust me. I mean, for a $6.99 knife, probably on the higher end as far as that factory edge, but not going to impress anyone. On the back here, there is a section of saw blade. That actually feels reasonably sharp, okay? I don't have a piece of wood here. We'll test that when we go outside, but it does seem like it would at least notch wood. I don't know about, cutting, thick branches off of trees or anything like that, but we're gonna see, we're gonna test it out. The biggest concern here with all of these knives ooh, man, that's rough on top. I didn't even notice that. So from the base of the blade all the way up to about here, seems reasonably sharp, but I just felt a huge burr on the top, and you can actually see that. You can see, let me zoom in. All right, you can see the reflection off the light. So you see that bevel, and then right here, it stops. It completely stops, and the whole, I gotta make sure this is focused for you so you can actually see what I'm talking about. That is rough towards the tip. It's literally like flattened. So this side looks like it's sharpened, but it's not. It's like the whole front end was sharpened and then they kind of mushed it into concrete or something. That's really bad. I didn't even notice that at first. Wow. All right, but you know what? It's a sharpened piece of metal. Doesn't matter how cheap it is. Keep in mind, this is being sold as a survival knife. It doesn't mean it's going to be something you're going to be using for multiple situations or you're going out camping for a month. It's supposed to do very basic chores. That's the idea, to save your life, right? Now, this wouldn't be your choice of knife. If you're going to pack a survival knife that you're going to rely on, if you know a little bit about knives, this style of knife overall would probably not be your choice. You know, but it appeals to non-knife people. You know, people who just think, knives are cool, but they don't really know much about it. That's the person buying this. Or people who love knives and just want to get a laugh with their friends. Maybe that's why you're buying this. Or if you make videos on knives, maybe that's why you're buying this. That's raising my hand here. That's why I bought it. But I mean, come on, $7? That's hard to pass up. So like, if you're not really going out in the woods and using this, I mean, this looks really cool on the wall. This looks like a Rambo knife, you know, that's what a lot of people will remember it as, a Rambo style knife or something like that. So yeah, if you just take this out of the sheath and mount it on your wall in your man cave, that is a very, very cool decoration for $6.99. Just hope that if a crackhead breaks into your house in the middle of the night unarmed, they don't see it there, because they will use it on you. And even though it's a $7 knife, it will very much penetrate into your body if they're looking to steal your stuff. So something to keep in mind for all the people who hang weapons on the wall. But yeah, I mean, my first impressions of it, I've seen worse, I've seen better, but for the price, it's I don't know. We know it's a crap knife. We all do. It's a crap knife. But how crappy? That's the question. So getting back to my major concern when I go outside and use this is the construction here. So this entire blade, right, this whole chunk of steel here with the somewhat sharp edge is connected to the entire handle by one screw right there. All right, so let me zoom in on that screw. So obviously the blade stops here, and there's one screw holding it in. Now, out of the box, without being used, there's no play, no wiggle whatsoever. All right, and I'm sure if I make some like feather sticks and do some light cutting and stuff, maybe a little bit of sawing, I'm sure that'll be fine. But I'm gonna start hacking with this, because that's what you wanna do sometimes in an emergency situation. You're hacking some wood. I don't even know if we're gonna get to batoning, but if I do start batoning wood with this, I guarantee it's gonna break. And it's gonna break right here. Either the screw is gonna break, because it's probably not a heat treated screw, it's probably a very soft little piece of metal that's holding in these two pieces of metal, holding them together. So this is the weakest point of the knife, obviously, and we're gonna see what happens, but that's my guess. My guess is eventually it's gonna break, whether it's a little bit of light chopping, or if I get to batoning, as I baton with it, it's just gonna fail here. I just know it. The question is when? Is it gonna fail the first time I whack it against something? Is it gonna fail an hour after processing enough wood to make 30 fires? I don't really know. But keep in mind the purpose of it, a survival knife, right? There's minimal work you're doing with this to stay alive before you're rescued, right? So, I mean, the whole thing's subjective. Overall, like I said, if you're a knife person, knife guy, knife gal, you know a little bit about knives, you could probably guess if you're paying $7 or even the full $10 price for this knife, there's not much to expect out of it, right? Besides it looking kind of cool and, you know, playing around with it while you're watching Rambo. But we're gonna see. I give every knife a fair shake. I might be totally shocked by this and just be blown away at how awesome it is for $7. You never know. But that is my initial tabletop look at it anyway. I'm gonna get outside right now, and I'm not sure if it's gonna be part of this video or if it's gonna be a separate video. I kind of feel like it's probably gonna be this video. So why don't you just stay tuned, we'll see how it performs. All right, so here is where I'm gonna start. This is a little stump. I come out, sometimes I'll check the tip strength of something, stabbing in and, you know, prying my way out. But first thing I wanna do is actually check out this sawing action. Let me do this, let's do it on this side. I just wanna see how well this actually saws. That actually saws fairly decent. That went in probably a ½ an inch or so. Let's try on the top on an angle here. That's not too bad. Now again, you wouldn't necessarily saw a whole tree branch with this. You would use this for notching. All right, that's how I would see that actually being used. It would take quite a bit of effort. You're much better off with taking smaller branches and just breaking them, you know. But anyway, I'm going to get a little bit of a chopping action. To the side. The round handle, of course, makes it awkward to do this because it wants to, you know, twist in your hand and move all around stuff. Even though there's a lot of knurling here, it's actually pretty comfortable. So it's not adding a whole lot of grip there. But it's doing a pretty decent job. I mean, light chopping. As long as you can get on target. Alright, so again, I want to try a little bit of tip testing. Alright, where I'm just going to stab in and pry out. Not too bad. There's a little bit of a bend in there towards that tip. I don't know if you guys can tell. I gotta let that focus here. It's a little bit of a bend. Now, because I chop a lot on this, it's a little bit softer on top. So I'm gonna try that on the side of the wood here, where it's a lot harder. Still that original bend. If it goes in far enough, it'll more likely bend out, because as we know, it's a soft steel. So now obviously it's quite bent. I'm not going to keep pushing it because I know it's just going to eventually snap off anyway, but just a quick little demo showing how soft the steel is. We have a down branch here. I want to see how much effort it actually takes to saw through this. This is probably, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch, maybe a full inch right here. All right, so let's see. Yeah, see, on solid wood, it's not biting down as much as it was with the soft wood that I was used to chopping and stuff. As you can see, I mean, it kind of just barely notched it. That's why I was saying it's better for notching than actually sawing. Try the side here. Those teeth in the back are sharp, but it would just take too much effort to actually saw through that all the way. It's same thing. I'm getting like 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch of a notch cut in there. Cutting it instead. That stuff out of the way. All right. The grip is horrible. Well, you can just say that right now. Is trying to hang on to this is very difficult, not only because of the size of the handle, but because it's round like that. It just wants to keep spinning. Right, very difficult. Way too much energy to cut this tiny little piece of wood. There we go. All right. Not super impressive, but it's still here. It's still strong. It's not loose or anything in the handle. All right, I'm gonna see real quick if I can use this as a throwing knife. See if it'll stick. There we go. All right. It went fairly decent. Dare I pry it out? All right, let's see. Okay. Well, it certainly didn't help our curve problem, but it did work as a throwing knife at least once. Huh. All right, well, we're done with testing the tip anyway. We know it's soft. We're just gonna keep on hacking on stuff. All right, so we have a stump in the ground here. Just gonna keep hacking on this a little bit. Again, prying my way out. See what happens here. Alright, that's taken quite a bit of abuse there. Still not loose. Still nice and tight, which is good. It's a lot of pressure there. Let's see. Not loose at all. All right. All right, guys. Well, after the video stopped there, I probably spent about 10 minutes or so screwing around with it, hacking some more wood. I tried to make a fire stick. It was a complete fail. It's just the edge, just some hacking on the wood there. The edge is already dull, like really dull. Like I could not get any kind of decent shavings. When I really forced myself into the wood, it was just too fat. So can't make fire sticks or anything like that. The tip obviously is quite bent from forcing it out of the tree. Just a very soft steel. But surprisingly enough, it has not loosened. All right, where this is, the blade's mounted to the handle with that one screw. It's solid. All right, so like I said, even though it's dull now, and I would consider it to be useless, technically it didn't break yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold off, do a little bit more testing in the future, because the next thing I wanna do is baton it, and I'll have the proper wood around here where I'm doing this testing. You know, it's a baton right now, but I have a feeling that's where it's gonna be, you know, really abused enough to the point where it breaks. Just the vibration in this very soft steel, I feel like that's where it's gonna fail. But for now, it passed its first phase of testing. It got dull immediately. It bent immediately. It's very soft. Although this feels very sharp, it really only, it notches things out. That's it. You're not going to saw through a tree branch with this. At least not with a normal effort you would get from any other type of saw. But yeah, I mean, it's still kicking. I'm actually pretty shocked it didn't break yet, to be honest. I thought that first little, you know, I was hacking into that, that little stump and I was cranking on it. I thought that's it. It would just snap. My face was, I'm facing completely away from the camera, just waiting for the snap, and it just never happened. It's you know, muscling through it. So we'll see what the future holds. But for now, it's still kicking. Interesting. Let me know down in the comment section if you bought this knife. If so, why'd you buy it? And do you still have it? Just curious. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.